Welcome G. Let's start Java tutorial. Today I'm going to discuss on Java date and time API. How you will manage date and time, how will create a date object, and how will manage times, year, date, month, each and everything. So since Java when started, they have provided the classes that help us to create your date and time object, but now those generally classes are not thread safe, and they are due to that they are developer facing many challenges and problems. So since java s8 java 8 release, the new date time package was introduced, known as java.time. This introduced in java 8 and provide a comprehensive model of the date and times, and that was developed under the JSR 310 date and time API. This the package java.time is the based of the your ISO calendar system. Okay, ISO is the International Organization for Standardization. So now Java 8 onward, we have a standard date and API that we can use. The same is the ISO follow. One of the major advantage of this new date and time API is that the most of the classes of date times API are immutable. Okay, meaning that after the object is created, it cannot be modified. To alter the value of an immutable object, the new object must be constructed as modified copy of the original. Okay, they are trying to say almost all the date and time API is a by default thread safe. Okay, so this is the previously all the Java dates classes like java.util.date or calendar class, which help us to generally create calendars or date and times. Just a simple example, simple date formatter. These classes are not thread safe, and if developer going to use the different scenario, they are getting different behavior. Simple date formatter internally modify the some fields. Due to that, different kind of scenario problems situations occur. So if from due to that, from Java 8 onward, uh, Java community suggested we have to use the standard calendar, ISO calendar. For for this calendar specific, they created your new Java date times API. Almost all the new date times classes are under the java.util java.time package. So let us discuss key what kind of classes are offered by this DateTime API. At least we know these are the classes available, so that in generally any application, date times is almost mandatory. Without date times, you are not doing any application. Let's say you are creating one employee. When the particular employee object is created in system, when the particular date fields are modified by the, so we have created time, update time, last modified times. The times is a very key, you can say, attributes of any software. So for that purpose, you should know how you manage the date times in your system. Okay, if you don't know detail about the datetime API, generally we use the before 8 we have a Java 7 5 6, they have generally used before also use the datetime API, but they have lots of problem facing. So due to that, the third party vendors API generally in productions used. Java.util.date class are generally not used in the production. They are alternatives provider in the market. They are using. So Java say why alternative third-party provider date and times classes are used inside the Java application. Why Java cannot provide itself a standard API? So from Java 8 onward, we in Java itself as a standard library, this date and time API available we can use. So let's discuss what kind of date and time API, so that we are able to will full-fledged capability to know and use the date and time API. The first we'll going to discuss about date classes. Okay, what are the new date classes? Previously, generally we are using java.util.date class to create a date. Now they have introduced the new class known as a local date class. So we'll discuss how we are going to use local date class, and sometime we want to know the month, sometime we want to know the month day, sometime we want the month year. So you have to little these classes you can use. Similarly, sometime I want to not only date class, I want to date and time both. So for that they have created like a your local time class or local date times. If you want to only times, you can local times, or you want to local date times, you can use the daytime classes. Okay. But these classes generally are basically deal with the only date and times. And sometime you want to know, I want to some zone ID, zone offset regions. So for that they have created a class like time zone and offset classes as well as. Okay, so this is the all the times we have some time zones. Okay, on this region basis, zone basis, the particular information. So for that we have a zone date times, yeah, offset date times classes, yeah, offset times classes are introduced. And they are for these classes we generally are using the supporting classes like your ZoneId and ZoneRules. Figure out what kind of offset have. So we'll discuss these example how you can create ZoneId and ZoneOffset as well as. And finally, we have another classes interest known as that is the new class you can instance classes. Okay, which represents a instantaneous amount of the times. They are usually complete times represent what the I represent what the complete times. And similarly, we have some time on to some duration like month, year, 2 month, yeah, 2 minute, yeah, 3 second. For that, we have created a duration object, and similarly, we have a period between the two dates. So these are the kind of how to calculate the amount of time using the both period and duration classes. Okay, so these are the helping classes which help us to calculating some duration and period. So before Java 8, generally we are using the standard class known as java.util.date. Okay, okay, now this date class, and or you can use java.util.calendar or simple date formatter. So generally okay, we are using before Java 8. So this is known as now the legacy means key legacy is date in times code. So we have to discuss how if your applications are using legacy java.util.date, then how you are going to convert these classes to the new API, date and times API, or standard date and time API. So let's summary what classes we discussed till now. We discuss like instance. So generally all the classes we are discussing that which class are enum package contain year, month, or day, hours, minutes, second, zone offset or zone ID. So if you're talking, I'm talking about the instance. Instance means they are only talking about your second. Okay. So if you are look like output like complete second, so this is the output of this. Okay. If you want to use the your local date, then local date can only date then contain one year, month, and day, and your output like this. Your date, month, year. Or similarly, you want to local date time class, then they contain month, year, day, and your hours, minute, and second as well as this way they contain the complete times and second. You want to only the zone ID date and times. So you have to here your this class contain your year, month, day, hours, minute, second, and zone offset and zone ID. This is your zone id, like your which regions, and this is your offset. This is means ki plus 9 hour. That means this time zone is ahead of plus 9 hour of the UTC. Similarly, if you're talking about the local times, the local time only contains your hours, minute, second. Whatever you are talking a local, local means your system clock on currently where your system belongs. We have a options. First, Java also provide a one class, abstract class on your clock. You have an option. You can set the different clock. The by default your system clock used to calculate these date and times. And if you're talking similarly, we have discussed about we'll discuss about the offset date time. They contain also your year, month, day, hours, minute, second, and these kind of also contain your zone offset, but they have not zone id. So this is our, in this way they contain your zone offset id -7. This is your zone offset. This is times is minus UTC -70. And if you're talking about only offset time, so you are only take your offset and times. Sometime you want to durations or duration the between the maybe second, a minute, a day. In this way calculates. And period means just between the period, the day, month, year, 10 days, 20 days. In this way, duration for hours. So in this way you can these are the highly used API. Lots of other classes in enum high, but we are generally going to discuss these classes. These are the sufficient list where you can get the benefit. So let us discuss one by one and try how we are writing the code, how we can create the object of this, what did the output come. So let's first talk about your local date. How I'll create going to local date. Okay, so see, simply we go and write like a local date. All the local date. Okay, all the classes are immutable. Generally, they are not offer you to create the object using the new keywords. They are provide a factory method like a now. Okay, uh, now in this way you can create your local. Okay, so here this is a local date class. Generally, recommend always you cannot create like a new this way. Okay, they are not allowed. Okay, this is a have a private access. Okay, so generally all the date time classes, whatever we are going to read, all are kind of support immutability. Means you have to create the object of respective classes using his own factoring method. Okay, so please this is the first point we have to take care. Okay, this is not allowed. Not allowed. All date and time API APIs are immutable. Okay, so you have to create the object of this through your factory method. So this is the, let's key us out what kind of your object. So and if you run it, you run it, you are getting the local date today in the my system. Today is the state 14 Feb to 2021. So we are getting this output. So local date represent the year, month, and day. Okay, and this is the ISO calendar. Okay, and useful representing a date without time. So this class is not considering any times. Okay, so local date time to take the significant events such as your date, birth date, or wedding date, complete with a date you only need, not a time needed. So in this scenario, we can use the your date. We have lots of other factory classes like your I want to my date of birth, or so you have the off method as well as you can set. So here you can set, say, local date dot, we have a off method where you can pass your month and your year. Let's key month maybe 2000 I want, and maybe I want to January. So this is the month is enum. We can use the January, and then you can pass date, any date. Let's key 26 January. So in this way you can construct your l- local date that contain your exact date, month, and year, whatever you want. So these are the of now is the some factory method that help us to create your data object. And let's next about sometime I want to not only date, I want to time as well as. So you have to use the, again almost use all the date time API classes have a factory method now. So, so if you let's look about oh, this, sorry, we have to create your times. So let's local date time dot your now. In this way you can now this date time class contain date as well as your time. Okay, so these are the classes like this. Okay, your contain current date and your times as well as, and you can also create the like they have also factory method like off. You can specify your year, and you can specify your month and your date and times. Okay, so here are the factory method you can also use, like local date time dot off, and you can lots of constructor available here. You can use your with a specific date to date. You can specify, or you can specify your year, month, day, and hour, minute as well as. You can specify year, month, day, and times as well as. You can also all the constructors support your kind of a new clock. Means by default your system clock verifying. You can also set UTC clock or any other region clock as well as. And we have one where we send some common instance and some zone as well as. So these are the some utility method that help us to create the object of your date and times. Okay, so this is the kind of a way you can create this. Okay, you can create your uh, of and you can pass here any year, date, month, or you can pass here. Let's key here 2000. Then you can pass your month maybe 1, and your date should be 25. Your hours, let's key 5, 6, and 7. In this way you can pass your year, month, day of. In this way you can construct your local date times object. So lots of construct factory method available. They can help us you to create a specific date with a specific times. So similarly, we have a option off method. Similarly, we have off instance where pass the instance and time zones, and you simply now you want to plus. You have some option like a plus a month minus a month. So here you can option just you, you have option as we have a option like a local date time dot now. Let's go now, and we have a now, and after that we say just plus day, hours, minutes, second, whatever year we want to compare. Let's say I want to plus month, 1 month ahead, the plus one. Then this week you are getting the date of 1 month ahead of the today. So today is our 14th February. The you are getting the 14th March. So in this way, lots of utility method offer plus minus day, hour, plus minus subtract you can do easily. You can do here. And similarly you have your option you can also do some minus plus. So these classes help us to create your date time object with different kind of flavor. Okay, so next let's move about sometime I want to time zones with region. So generally, key in our complete globe, there are different time zones. Sometimes, let's give in India, we are sometime different times, and maybe United States they have a different time at present. So different region have a different time zones. So how will manage the if you're doing any application that manage a different locations, so we have to use this time zone and offset classes that help us to make some standard times. So if you're talking about the time zones, time zone is a region of the earth where the same standard time is used. Okay, and each time zone is described by the an identifier and usually has a format like a region and city. Okay, so this is your zone, generally region and the particular city, and another offset from this an offset from your UTC. Our UTC is the standard time. From this UTC, this is the UTC or near about location about United UK and the London city from where they are calculating at times. The offset maybe for Tokyo plus 9 hour ahead. Okay, plus 9. This is the your Tokyo plus 9 hour ahead. Maybe India plus 5:30 ahead from the UTC. These are known as your offset. Oh, this your regions and city known as your zone. So some what is the time zones? Time zones contain the region plus city, and offset specify the specific number of hour plus or minus you are from standard UTC times. So this is the basic of concept. With the help of these two concept, time zones, the region and city, and particular offset. Offset is the specify how much ahead or low you are from UTC. With these two classes, you can create data object, a time zone object for different regions as well as. Let us sorry. If talking about the zone, again ZoneId and ZoneOffset, these are two supported classes. So DateTime API provided two classes for specify your time zones and or offset, you can say. So this is the one your ZoneId and one is the ZoneOffset. ZoneId specify a time zones identifier and provide the rule for converting between instance or local date times. Okay, sometime actually we have a local date times or instance at a particular periods of times, so you want to conversion between the different the zone id specify zone id, the class you specify your zone id. Zone is id the kind of a region or plus combined city, region city. And this is the again zone offset. Zone offset is specified the time zones offset from your UTC. So this is specified from UTC. You are the plus how much hour, or you are the minus how much hour, about the hour and minute. So zone ID simply is zone ID class. I want to find out all the available zone IDs. Just simply get a method this, and this give you the all the zone ID. And from specific zone ID, you can calculate your offset, and after that you can create your local date and times with the respective zone and times. So if you look, you say zone id dot get default ids. In this way, if you print it, they give you all the zone id. So these are the all the zone id. Okay, in this way they'll contain your regions and country, regions and country, regions and country, regions and country. I just you want to print it in new line, like in the dot for each, and your zone id is out system dot out dot print new line I want. Okay, so this is the set collection of set. To set of for your for each method to it, they are showing the complete in the new line, so that we are just easily so all these are your, you can say, your zone id. So available zone id available, and the specific regions you want, whatever you want, you can filter. Let's go on to ACI specific. So ACI specific you want to you want to find out all the specific ACI specific. So you can also write before for each we can say dot filter. You have to stream dot filter and say ki whatever zone uh, uh, zone dot contain. Let's go on to this. So they only filter out only specific regions. So all the ACI specific regions you are find the time zones already. Okay, these are the way you can specify which zone ID you want and figure out anyone, whatever we needed. So let's talk about the kind of in this way you, this is the API get available time zones from where you written all the time zones, and you want to now convert a specific date and time. So you have to just take your zone id of the specific zone. Let's key zone, any zone here is specified zone, and this now this is your local date times. Initially you created your local date times, and now we have an option your local date time at a zone, and now you can, this is the which zone you want to create. And now we have a zone date times object, and zone time date object have a offset. Okay, so you want to print the offset, you can print offset or your zone. So in this way you are able to retrieve the specific let us write the, now we have a, this is the all time zones. Okay, and here just I want to create the, this is our local date time now. And now let's key for each let's key I want to for each string zone colon all zone. Okay, okay, and now here we have a now we are getting a one zone, and after that you can create your zone ID. The zone ID dot off. They have a off. You can specify your specific zone ID, and after that now we have a zone ID, and after that you can your standard local date times you can specify your zone. Now your local date times at zone, and you can specify your zone ID key on which zone I want. They return your zone ID time zone date times ID, and after they have a option the offset. You want to offset, so they return the offset. Get offset, get offset, get offset. They return offset, and now just you write your s out, and just you want to string dot format, just format the specific output like 35 percentage, just for formatting. Yes, s and space percent 10 spacing, just look like your output ampersand 10 s, and after that slash n new line, and here you can pass your zone, whatever zone ID you are referring, and now pass your offset. So in this way you are able to print out your all zone ID and offset both for a specific date region. So this way you can figure out your all your this is your region, this is the zone ID. So we have to this API follow the specific date and times you can figure out your zone ID and offset. So this way you can figure out all your zone ID and offset. So these method like date time API provide the three kind of classes: your zone date times and offset date times. Okay, and your offset times. Okay, these handle a date and times with corresponding time zones with the time zone offset from the UTC. Okay, similarly these handle date and times with the corresponding time zone offset from the UTC. They are without zone, they cannot contain zone, only contain your offset. Sometime you want to handle the corresponding time zones offset from the UTC without zone ID, so this help us. So these are the helper classes. As per our convenient we can use this. And if you want to like zone date times, similarly zone the date time class, it's the work with a local date time with a zone ID, as same as we, and we can make the full date using the maybe date, month, year at times, as well as so is for a specific regions or city. So you have to specify the zone contain a city and region. I specify the offset, and you can create the complete zone date ID. So here like we have example some complete date like for make here for example. So here we have created one we noted this is the one class date time formatter. Before that we are using simple date formatter. Please view simple date formatter is not thread sub class, but we can use the date time formatter for anywhere. So you can specify I'm going to create my date in this pattern: first, month, day, year, and hours, minutes, second. So here we have a format. You can specify format and specify the your local local date times with maybe any specific constructor, maybe now or something else. And we can specify any zone id. We have a specific constructor of, and we can specify any specific location. I want to get the zone id for America and Los Angeles, so this is the zone id here. And now you can create the zone date times with the of, and here passing your local date and your zone id. So this is the constructor of the zone date time id, and you can just print your formatter. You can get in the output in this format. So let us write and similarly this is help us to, as per the your convenient, you can use this formatter. And here specify this is the date the person is departed from this date with this time zones. Maybe let's keep they move to the next he's the next 10 plus 15 year ahead, and he just reached to the Asia regions. So here arriving zone is this. So from the your departure then, and with the zone same instance, you can providing the your now they have changed the zone, plus this is your times need to, plus time this, and you will get the actual times of your like converted it into the from America zone to the Asia zone. So this way, these classes help us to create a different kind of zone implementation. If let and look like here output look like, and this arrival zone classes also have a rule sum and is daylight saving. So this daylight saving also applied here, and we are getting output like the particular persons are living from this region at this times. Okay, at this time, after uh, sometimes they arrives in the next day at this pm, and this is the regions. Okay, and this is the Asia and Tokyo standard time will be in effect. Maybe here you're talking about the will be affecting me. See, there is no deadline. If there is any daylight saving, then you can handle the daylight saving as well as all the kind of different region, different locations and times you have to change. So accordingly, we have this class help us to make kind of changes. So please be use these classes very handy for managing a daylight saving from one, if you are one person living from one locations and reach to another location, the what would be times here in example they have started our from the July 20, and time at this they will started, this is the time you set here. Now this person is started with which region zone, this is the region zone, we have set region zone sets, and this is the actually departure times, this is your departure time this, and your zone id. And now after that next if you look they have a, let's see, is a flight take a times 10 hour 15 minutes, that means near about your total 650 minutes. So you are the plus 650 minutes from our departure times. Okay, 650 minutes. But we have it no ki this is the region change, they reached your Asia region. So we apply to the zone at this zone id what is the time. So you can say with the zone same instance like your arriving zone, and after that we are just plus value. And now we are to the this times. Okay, we are this is the your arriving time. Now your date change. Now this is the starting times. So in this way you can change your zone from one zone to another zones and apply some kind of also generally the different region have some kind of daylight saving concept. So manually you don't need to change your, just check your zones rule, and this zones need kind of some daylight saving management. Just you apply is daylight saving management to this specific instance or not. Is maintained, you will say this is the your daylight saving will be affected. or the standard time will be affected in this time zones. So this way, these are the classes, very handy classes and very useful. Manually you have to manage, take larger times to manage it. So please use this kind of a method, like here the with the zone same instance, and after that whatever times we reached, plus minutes minus whatever maybe hours you can add. So these are the your zone ID date and time. Similarly, sometime you have your offset date times as well as. So this is the just combination of local date times as previously said with the zone offset class. And we can also make a complete hour, yearly your plus minus hours and minute like things. How much your particular regions have a different offset and minus plus minus plus offset and minus offset, or maybe zero. Okay. So in this example, let's see, we have a find the latest Thursday in the July this. So we have your local date times of this is your July 13th. Okay, this is the date times, and even okay, I want to convert with this minus 8 offset. So you have just created offset, and this offset we have a offset date and times, and now you can say I want to make us only offset date and time. This is your date and this is your zona offset, your offset. You can specify now you are getting your offset date and times, and from offset date and times, from offset date and times with you can specify the last month, first month, any number of change conversion. You can easily convert your date. So this way you have to some kind of date modification manipulation easily you can do with these classes. And similarly we have about offset time as well as offset times. This is the just like your local date for offset date, and similarly we have a concept of local time only I want to manage. So you use the local time class and local time class and your zone offset. With the combination of you can create how many number of plus or minus your UTC your offset is. So you can say your offset time class used to the same situation as your offset date and time, but tracking not dated. Sometime you don't want to track the date, only want to timing. Then you this is the times you want to date and time. Then you can your date. So we have a date offset times, or you can say only offset times. So this till now we have a study about the date and time classes that help us to create with a specific region, a specific city as well as. So now we have an option like instance classes. So one of the core classes of these date and time API is the instance class. Okay, which represent the start of a nanosecond of the timeline. This class is useful by generating the timestamps to represent the machine times. So generally this way we are able to get your timestamps. Let's inst instant dot now. So yeah, so this is your complete timestamps contain. Okay, timestamps. So this method like they have also like a similarly factory method here now, and this return the value of your instance classes that counts time beginning from 1st January of 1990 70, also known as a epoch times. So they return your epoch times. So they are the complete time from your 1 1 1970 to till now 20 today is the 14th to 2021. What is the complete total time from here to here? This is known as epoch time, or in the Java we known as a instance. The current instance is the help us to know. So the instance can occur before the epoch time has a negative value, and the instance that occur after the epoch time has a positive value. So we have to consider that sometime if epoch can be minus plus. So this is the so known as this time. This is the you can this is the times. First January 97 also called epoch times. Okay, so if your particular instance occur before the epoch time, that is means negative, and after that epoch time is 1 1997 is your epoch times. If you are your instance before that, your instance might be negative, and after this your instance may be positive. So this is the positive value and negative value we are getting. So we know this is the epoch times, and this is our here is the epoch times. Sometime here we have option. So instance class also provide a variety of method for manipulating the instance. There are a plus and minus method for adding and subtracting times. Here is let's now I want to add plus 1 hour. Okay, so you have the options. Here you have a south instance dot plus dot plus you have a minute nanosecond hours whatever you want to add. So plus is 5 or second. You can plus hours as well as uh, dot plus plus your time long plus time minute. You're about like one here your temporal time unit uh, dot e duration dot plus this instead of directly you can put here instead dot plus the 1000 millisecond. So in this way you are getting the plus millisecond as well as. So these are the some helper method. You have a like a helper method like is after or before after, yeah, until method also have a kind of set of epoch second. So the in this way you can apply until this to this, and you can get some different time zones. So this help us to working on the different kind of times. So here you can also apply your current instance and local date times. You can apply your you can create the local date times class with the help of your instance and your zone id. You can create the particular times. You can create the instance and you put plus add some plus times, and after that create a local date and time with the specific zone id. Here pass your epoch instance time, and here pass your zone for which region you want to create the local date and times, and your local date and time created for the specific uh, time zones. And now from this you can create get your month, get your date of month, years, hours. That is the edit benefit whatever you want. So here you can say like local date time uh, to of instance. You pass the let's say I want to instance dot now, or just I pass, and same let's key zone id dot get system default time zones, and this here local date times, and that's out we have is now we you can create the local date times with the particular instance, whatever you have instance. So here we have either zone date times or offset date times object can be converted into the instance object, and each maps to extract the moment of the timelines. Okay, so the reverse is not true. Okay, you can convert these zone datetime object or time zone object to the instance, but from instance we can reverse is not possible. So convert from instance to the zone date times or zone offset required your supply your zone and time shooter, just like we apply your instance and then your zone. After that you can convert the specific local date times. So sometimes this is the your instance, the particular from epoch times, and we have a similarly one of collation like duration frequently used to can generally sometime you pass the duration of 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. The duration start your hours and pass the number of hours. So duration is the most suitable situation that means to measure the mechanism. Best times such as a code that use the instance object, and duration object is a measure in the second or nanosecond, does not use the database constructor such as a year, month, year. So in this scenario this class provide a method to convert date, hours, minute to the duration can have a negative value if it's created with a point before their start times. So this duration is the kind of some just kind of one object class where they are provide the lots of time constructs construct times object you can construct. Like here you have a durations, you have two instances and you want to duration between this, just you have a two instance and what are the time nanosecond, or generally these are the frequently used. I want to just your instance I want to let's key plus like this plus 10 second 20-second duration of like here what we are doing trying to here like say duration of let's say I want to hour minute second, that is of a minute. Okay, of minutes. Okay, of minute I want to 60 minutes or hours, and that is the your duration. And here you can pass your current instance, and that at time pass your plus your durations, your duration. And this duration help us to just plus duration, let's see uh, of day. Let's say I want to 10 day from today. Okay, so you have to duration duration plus 10 days, 10 days. So in this current instance, this is current instance. From here just you comment out so you can know the exact, or you can simply show instance dot now. Okay, from now we have added the, so this help us to pass some plus our minute durations. The here you are getting the, so from you can just create another object this out. mm, Instance one. Okay, from instance one you say plus instance, and then this is the instance one, and we are replacing a plus day. This is a plus duration of 10 days, duration of 10 days. So in this generally we pass some kind of duration hours minute. This is a really very handy classes for durations. Now you check your current instance is a 14. Now we are getting a 24 10-day ahead. The plus minus you have option 2 where you want to pass the date. This is the duration provide the kind of duration maybe per ghanta. So that is the very handy method. These generally this method are really used. Okay, and so duration is not connected to the any timeline. Okay, in that code duration does not track to the time zones or daylight saving. Okay, the please be ensured. Let's go, adding durations equivalent to 1 day, uh, your zone date times. Yeah, exactly 24 hour. They are going to add 24 hour. So if you need some kind of a maintain daylight saving or other, though this is the might be not a good place. So this is you just make exactly adding a minus in flat particular hours. And similarly sometime we have to use this period class, so to define the amount of time with the base of a value like year and month and day, so use your period. So sometime you want to only duration of your time in the case of year, month and day, then you can use the period. Period class provide a various get method these are the periods method, and you can extract the amount of time from period as well as. So here let's give example. This is your now current date, and this is let's go to birth date, and now you want to figure out this is the period between the birth date and what is the period between this. So this is your period. Okay, the period of between method, here you can pass your birth date and current date, and now this period have up methods from period you can get key, get year and get month and get days. Okay, and you want to completely long between the convert to uh, only want to number of days between the differences, then you can do. So here let's we have a uh, birthdays birthdays do like local date of let's key we have a birthday here from name of here let's key 20 2000, and your month should be let's key month or January, date should be let's key let's key 15 January, this date. Okay, date of birthday day, and now you have to birthday, and now you want to just get the period. So you have a just period yes start between you pass your birthday and birthday comma your from local data now. Okay, from now you have a period. South period. So in this way you have a manually extract the method, but you can get this complete This is the one method, but you want to detail out like you are a DTTTTs, and you can say here you have to plus you have to main uh, you are you are what here you can say period dot get years. How many years? Then month. Years equal to this plus comma months equal to plus period dot get months plus you say days equal to plus period dot get days. In this way you can just minus period between the what are the differences between the uh, this is the 21 year 0 month 30 day. So this is the you have to manually retrieves the day, or you want to complete total days, then we have a method like here chronic. This is the separate method, you can say out, you can take help of this unit dot convert on days, and then between you have a pass your the birth date and your 2 days. Let's convert today today today. Then this way you can convert key plus uh, days for month. Okay? This way months get days. So these are the helping method, you can say, as per your this is the number of old days, convert 10 only is plus days. Days, total days. Okay, let's say days. So they are automatic converted the complete this between you have converted to the date between this to this date. So this is the like a total days, total days. This or manually you can calculate year, month in the days. So these situation where you can use this period, figure out the from date and to date. What is the period between that? What are the day, month, year period? Okay. So this is another example like your next birthday when this is your birthday date now this 1st January, and your next birthday would be the what would be the year. So here you just pass the birthday date with the year, total year, and then calculate the next birthday. We have in plus minus next plus 1 year, and now we have a next birthday today. Now we can the between period and from period. Excuse me. Sorry. So in this way you can retrieve so different methods. So period just help us to figure out the period between the two dates, today or tomorrow or next day, and figure out what number of month, year, a differences period. So these are the till now we have studied what the latest Java 8 provides, and before the Java 8 release, generally we are using the kind of these classes to manage the your date like java.util date, java.util calendars, or java.util time zones, and java.util your geo. Gregorian calendars. So these classes have a several drawback that are overcome by these classes. Like the calendar class is the not thread safe, not type safe, because the classes are mutable and they should not be used in the multi-threaded environment. If you are using the multi-threaded environment, it will be difficult to figure out where is the problem. And bugs in the application code were common due to the unusual numbering of months and lacks of type safety. So due to this kind of drawback, they generally recommend don't use these kind of legacy classes or util date and calendar and like formatting class like simple date formatter. These are not thread safe classes, and mutation is a happen, and that is the make a create multiple logical bug inside your application. So question is, let's give we are reading. So Java 8 release added several methods that allow the conversion from java.util to time object. Let's see your application are using this and now you want to convert from this to this. So have it, there is a direct methods available you can convert. Okay, if you are going to write in the fresh code, recommended always use the latest one. If you have already your legacy codes and available, you have used these classes, so now you have a chance. Now you know these are the latest API. This is the drawback with our existing code. Why we cannot move from older legacy classes to the latest Java 8 time zone API? So these are the methods which we can discuss how to convert. So if you have a calendar, then just create the calendar at two instance, convert your calendar object to that instance. So convert calendar to instance. Or if you have a this is the calendar data to zone date time, convert to directly your zone date times. Similarly, we have this class have a like a from and specify the zone date times you convert it. If you have a date object, date dot just parse dot instance, you create date object from your instance. Simply, we have a date class have a two instance method that convert your date object to your instance object. Similarly, we have a time zone dot zone ID convert your time zone object to the zone ID. So these are the simplest way have a some conversion method. If you example how to convert like this, this is the normal way we are creating a calendar, and this is the now. If you want to convert your zone date in times, so we have options. You can pass your zone date times of instance. Your the this is the now have a instance method to instance, and your default zone id. Now your date calendar object now converted in your this. So or similarly we have a somewhere we have an old date object you want to convert to instance. There is two instance method you can convert, or we have another date from we have in past instance and convert new date. So in this way you can sometime you let's give one API are accepting only date object, so you can convert date from your first convert your two instance and past instance. Now your date is with a particular instance. So these are the some helper classes that help us to convert your util date to your instance, or instance from calendar to your zone date times. You can do it. Okay, like here generally we are using the like uh, calendar dot get instance dot. Generally this is the calendar instance. From here you can convert like local date and times, local maybe you can convert local date times, zone date times, whatever you zone date time from instance you can pass here. And now this calendar class have a direct method to to instance. They convert to your calendar to instance and pass your zone id dot default zone, and now this your variable that is the default zone. In this way you can convert from, if you have calendar object, now we want to convert it the zone date times, just use the from instance method. Now you converted your uh, calendar to zone days. Similarly, your date have a like date have a like a from instance here you pass you have a, let's key date let's key we have a some older date like calendar dot calendar to get times. This is let's give old date. Now this you can pass your date dot instance, and now you can get the date with the latest instance in this way. So these are the methods which help us to convert, like here we have a older data object, you want to convert the from to instance, and from to instance we have from method pass, and now you this data with the current your local uh, instance date. So in this way you can perform kind of a conversion. These are the some other conversion if you need it, like we have a generally use the this Gregorian calendars as have a get time zones. So yeah, get calendar time zones. Generally, we are using this time zones initially. So you have to use instead of here now calendars class have a get time zone date times. This return your zone date time object. Okay, from this we have a kind of this is the from. You can pass this and your new calendar available. From this calendar whatever you are doing, so you have a retrieve local date time, local date, local times, what are the object you can convert if this calendar. Okay, so this calendar we can use the as apply the particular zone date times, and after that we can convert your that existing calendar to the specific local date time, local times, and whatever conversion. So there is a no such no one-to-one mapping corresponding between these API, but there are some classes that general idea which use from java.util date with the java.times. So there is some not directly one-to-one mapping, but some class directly you can replace from this to this classes. So let's like this class. If we have like your date, okay, now this is your instance. So wherever you are going to use, just try to use this. Okay, instance and date classes are instance and date classes are similar. Okay, and represent to the but not instant point of the time from on the UTC. I hold the time independent with the zone. This zone. So similarly, you can conversion date from instance date to instance. So these are the method directly you can think. Similarly, we were talking about this calendar, and then we have used here the zone date times, and from this calendar we have from method is just by your zone date times, and they also have two method from where you can apply the conversion. So if you are talking about the zone date time ID, that replaced with this calendar, and that I have a local date and time method you can, and your zone ID, a zone offset, all over things you can retrieve from here. And you can also think about the time zones generally you are used. So here you are using the two classes, zone ID and offset. So zone ID classes specify the zone ID identifier and a particular regions, and zone offset classes specify your UTC offset. And so in this place you are trying to use this, and simply this calendar generally uh, Gregorian calendar with date to set this. Here you can use your times. Local times is simply same as from this calendar. So prefer this way. So these are the some different set of, you can say, direct classes you can think to change. And we have an or you can in this place you can also use local date and local time as well. Both are the same things. So sometime you need kind of some formatting, date formatting, before we are doing the simple date formatter. Simple date formatter class is not thread safe. There are lots of problems if you are using the multi-threaded environment. So please use now new class date time formatter. This provide a powerful mechanism for formatting date and time value. You can also use the java.util, some different classes like a formatter or a string formatter to the same pattern as before using the you can use. So how do you first is specify like your class name, date time formatter, have patterns. Here specify your which pattern you want to convert your date, and after that you just specify your any date name, any zone date times object. They have a, apply the format method. You apply this formatter. Now your date will be printed converted in this format. So this have a formatter. Just specify the pattern, and you just specify your which zone date time you want to convert. So in this way, this is the very handy method, format method, and this format take input argument as your format, and just generally all the this zone date class have a format, and formatter need your date time formatter. So you can pass your date time formatter. And last we'll discuss about the all the Java uh, date time classes which we discuss have a kind of all the most temporal based objects provide the no argument constructor like now methods, and provide the current date and time using your system clock. Okay, the by default we are saying ki local date dot now they are using your system date and times with the default time zones. What are the default time zones? On which basis they are your now methods works. Almost all the new date and time API have a now method, and now is are using default system clock and times. Okay, so if you, and also we have a another argument constructor. If you look, they pass as a one clock. Okay, you want to you don't want to use your system clock, you want to use a specific different clock, then we have options. You can pass your clock object. Okay, so generally use of this clock object is optional. This feature allow you to test your code other time zones, or by using the fixed clock where general time zone not in the case of our India, time zone is generally not changed, so we have to change our system not time. And I'm not going to only test my application in the system time zones. I can change the different time zones. So you have to pass the new clock object. So ISO clock is the abstract class. Class is abstract class. You cannot create an object of instance abstract class object. So how to is they provide us some factory method for you. Okay, so here is some factory method. You can say clock, which clock amount, what duration you want, some your system UTC, or some fixed clock you want to create for this instance at this zone. So in this way you can pass your uh, clock. Let's say here I want to example like this out local date time dot now. This is the default way. This is use this uh, default system zone, and this is you say no, I'm past the clock dot get UTC zone. Okay, if you say so, you can set different clock zone here. Okay, here if you look this code, they are using your system default by default clock zone. If you're not passing anything, they are internally use your system default time zones. So in this way, sometime you want to pass the different clock as well as, so that complete works on your different clock. Here your system, currently our system is your this time zones. Okay, and if you go to the system UTC have a different, like if you are looking here, the 7:45, here is the 2:15. So this is the time differences. You can change your system lock using the programmatically, while all the date time local date or date time classes provide the overloaded method. You now you can pass which clock I'm going to use. Clock needs some kind of time zones, which time zones you are passing. Here let's see, in the case of you are not passing anything now, now you use the system default default zone. And if you go to default zone, they are also use the default zone id. Okay, this is the new system class, which is the implementation of your abstract class. So you can also pass your different clock as well as, and different utility method here, that help us to test your application in a different clocks, not only system your system class, but different system class clock as well as. So till now, what we are studied, just get a summary and give what kind of uh, classes and utility method we. So all the classes we discussed about the java.util package contain almost all the classes which we discuss, that represent your date and times. Okay, and this is a very rich API, means key lots of classes and lots of method available for us, and all these are uh, now new date and time API follow their ISO base standard. So first we discuss about the instance classes, that is the very handy classes, and similarly you can local date, local times, and local date time classes that provide the date and time classes. They did not maintain any zone, yeah, zone id. If you want to with a zone, then we have a zone id, zone rules that specify is that particular zones have applied to some daylight saving or not. And zone offset like how much, how many number of hours your time zone is, plus or minus offset, like plus 530 India plus 530 off from the UTC. A zone ID is specify your regions and city. Okay, and similarly if you have a this helper classes, and now from this helper classes you can build your zone date times class. Now this date time class contain your date time and zone in each and everything. Okay, this represent to the, and this is the helper classes offset date times and your offset time as well as, for a specific offset a specific date time you want. And last we pass like I want to use the duration class, just I want to plus 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, they have a durations. Those duration you can pass using maybe minute, yeah, nanosecond the duration. And you can, we have last discussed about the period as well as, period just between the difference. Let's see how many number of day year I have. Oh, I'm old, so this is the birth date, this is the due date. So this is the between, what the number of day year month, you can calculate from period dot between and from and to date. In this way you can figure out. And last we discuss about clock. All this date API is working on your system date and time clock. If you want to change test all these classes with a different system clock, you can use this. Now have overloaded method, you can provide the different clock as well as. So I think hope it's helpful to you to at least you know this set of classes available for us. So our my recommendation, please at least you know this set of classes available, and whenever we have a time we are going to use any date times uh, related task, please use the this java 8 latest date and time API that have a added advantage. You have lots of utility methods which help us to save your time while calculating, while changing date times, can changing your zones and calculating manually date and times. Lots of methods available for us. and also measure what are the drawback of the existing Java before Java 8, the classes like utility classes, yeah, calendar classes that have some drawback like not type separated and single date formatter like not a thread safe classes. So we have thread safe classes, and all the dates we have discussed are the immutables, so that you can same run in a multi-threaded environment without any kind of a problem you face. So here only suggestion, please try to use this Java 8 date and time API in your applications. If your application have used the old legacy classes, please try to convert from legacy classes to your new classes. That help us to avoid unnecessary problem in your application. So this is from the complete session for this date and time related discussion. So here again I am like to say thank you for watching this video.